only on WION World is One, because nothing matters more.
Vielleicht nur als Imposant.
Welcome back, viewers. You're watching WION World is One. This is World DNA, the show that gets you ahead of the rest. I'm Shivan John.
And I'm Jyotsna Kumar. Now, the first round of high-level talks between the United States and Iran have concluded in Switzerland. Technical talks will continue throughout the week through a high-level committee. Now, these talks included Lebanon and release of frozen Iranian assets, among other sticking points. We'll bring you all the latest on the show today.
Also on World DNA, US President joins the list of leaders calling on Keir Starmer's resignation as the UK Prime Minister. And as per reports, Starmer has reached the conclusion that his position is no longer tenable in the United Kingdom. We'll bring you the latest on that front. Let's start with the headlines first. This is World DNA.
The first round of talks between the United States and Iran have ended in Switzerland, according to a joint statement issued by mediators Pakistan and Qatar. Both Iran and Washington have agreed on a roadmap towards reaching final deal within 60 days.
Mediators hail encouraging progress in US and Iran talks. They have agreed to establish a high-level committee to oversee talks with technical discussions to continue in Switzerland on nuclear, sanctions and implementation issues.
Iran and US have agreed to set up a deconfliction cell with Lebanon to stop military operations. They have also agreed to set up communication line to avoid incidents in the Strait of Hormuz.
Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi hails major progress to end Lebanon war during the talks, claims Iran secured key concessions, including the reopening of oil and petrochemical exports, lifting of the blockade, release of some frozen assets, and launch of a major reconstruction and development plan for the country.
An explosion occurred in Qatar's Ras Safan industrial zone, home to the world's largest liquefied natural gas hub. The Interior Ministry says that the blast was the result of a technical incident.
Another aviation accident in the United States as a small plane crashes in the woods outside of a Washington, D.C. suburb, killing its pilot and 2 passengers.
Oil prices jumped after President Trump threatened renewed military action against Iran. Brent crude rose above $81 a barrel as Iran again closed the Strait of Hormuz, raising concerns over global oil supplies.
World Cup debutants Cape Verde scored a second-half equalizer to salvage a 2-all draw against Uruguay in Miami. Cape Verde boost their hopes of reaching the knockout phase with their second point in Group H.
And the first round of high-level talks between the United States and Iran has concluded in Switzerland.
And as per a joint statement issued by mediators Pakistan and Qatar, the talks between the US and Iran, they were conducted in a positive and constructive atmosphere, and encouraging progress was made. Now, the statement also said that the US and Iran have agreed to establish a high-level committee to provide political oversight of the mediation. It added that the committee has agreed on a roadmap towards reaching a final deal within 60 days, while technical talks will continue in Switzerland for the rest of this week on all outstanding issues.
Well, chief negotiators will report regularly to the high-level committee and lead working groups focused on nuclear issues, sanctions, and a monitoring and dispute resolution mechanism to ensure the effective implementation of the Memorandum of Understanding, as well as other matters.
The statement also noted that Washington and Tehran have agreed to establish a deconfliction cell with Lebanon to halt military operations and prevent further escalation.
Now, Lebanon continues to be a major point of contention. Israel is firm on its operation against Hezbollah, while Iran has refused to finalize a deal without peace in Lebanon. And Donald Trump is now putting the blame of Lebanon impasse on Iran.
Now, the talks were held against the backdrop of Iran's announcement that it had closed the strategic Strait of Hormuz in response to Israeli attacks in Lebanon, a claim that has been disputed by the United States. In the talks on Sunday, US and Iran agreed to set up a communication line to avoid incidents in the Strait of Hormuz.
All right, to discuss more on this, we're now being joined by Adrian Kelmel from New York. He's a fellow at Arabian Peninsula Institute and a scholar. He's also the author of forthcoming book on Hezbollah. Thank you so much for joining us on the broadcast. Always a pleasure talking to you. Well, so far it looks like it's a smooth sailing, although we have, of course, opinions and claims coming from Trump and also from Iran. At this point, looking at all the developments, how do you see this going forward?
Good morning to you, Jyotsna. Good question. How's it going to go going forward? This is a memorandum of understanding. It's not a ceasefire. We're seeing the Islamic Republic wanting to pull Lebanon and Hezbollah into that negotiations and make that part of the overall negotiations. There's a 60-day window here. If you go through the different points that were put through in the memorandum of understanding, there's certain parts of it I just can't see the United States ever agreeing to. And I believe with some of the sanction relief that they're talking about, it would have to go through Congress. So, it doesn't really, today they didn't touch on the enrichment. They didn't touch on the nuclear program. I think the Islamic Republic is going to try and stay as far away from that as possible. They're using as little leverage as they have, Strait of Hormuz, and then these negotiations to really, really stick it to the United States. And the United States blinked on this. JD Vance owns this. He staked his political career on this, and basically he just lost the 2028 primary right now in 2026 with this, because as I see it, he's expecting the IRGC, Mohsen Rezai, Ghalibaf, these individuals to play nice. And that has not happened over the course of 47 years. So, I'm pessimistic.
Adrian, as you mentioned, that the core issues which started the entire conflict, and it has lasted in the last 47 years, more than that, in fact, is the nuclear issue, which has not even been brought up yet. Iran has introduced another aspect to the equation, that's Lebanon. Do you feel Iran's bargaining chips have increased ever since Feb 28th?
Oh, they've been playing. They shouldn't have, but they've been playing their hand extremely well. They basically, the Strait of Hormuz was a break the glass, end of times. This is our last card to play here. And they played it, and they played it very well. Now, during that time, the United States has claimed, and there has been this mini Operation Freedom where tankers have been moving out, hugging the Omani coastline and getting out into the global market. But it was, somewhat of a trickle. I see what's happening now. It's really a political stopgap measure to resupply the global fuel markets. and also to lower gas prices in the United States and win the Republican primaries, or at least give them a chance in the 2026 primaries. So, the regime is playing this very well, as they always do. We play checkers, they play chess.
That's interesting. That's an interesting take there.
I'm sorry, the inverse. We play checkers, they play chess.
All right.
Or go, even harder.
Yes. Right. And that being said, you, of course, have your study on Hezbollah. At this point of time, of course, they have not backed down, and Israel has also not backed down. We're not getting out of South Lebanon. Do you think anywhere that U.S. will be able to convince Netanyahu, okay, we need to get this deal done, so listen to us and get out of Lebanon?
Yeah, there's two parts of this. We got to remember who's telling Hezbollah to fire the rockets. It's the Islamic Republic of Iran. They're telling this. It's also the Israeli. The Israelis are pushing in to create that buffer zone that was a failure of the international community under UN Security Council Resolution 1701, which established UNIFIL. We've seen talks about the Lebanese government disarming Hezbollah, the regime is going to continue to try and sow chaos and try and bring Hezbollah, Lebanon, into these negotiations. Because if we go back to October 7th, 2023, before the Nova incident massacre, Hezbollah was the greatest threat to Israel. And they were decimated over the course of 2 years. And this is why the regime really wants to make sure that they're part of this, so that they can take some of that money that they're going to get and build them back up.
Adrian, it's the first day of the talks that concluded. It's going to continue. Technical talks will continue in a week. And you already have talks concluding somewhere in Lebanon. That's where they've started with, which was never part of the equation before Feb 28th. They're asking for frozen assets to be released, lifting of the blockade, including reopening of oil and petrochemical exports. Iran is really getting, and let's not forget that $300 billion that was part of the Memorandum of Understanding as reparations for Iran. So Iran's really playing this one in their own favor. Let's see what US gets. We'll need to wait and watch how this one pans out. Thanks so much for joining us, Adrian. Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.
Well, U.S. President Donald Trump has now joined the list of leaders calling on Keir Starmer's resignation.
And according to a report by UK newspaper Observer, Starmer has reached the conclusion that his position as the UK's Prime Minister was no longer tenable after speaking to cabinet minister, advisors, donors and trade union leaders. The report further said that Starmer spent the week discussing his next course of action after rival Andy Burnham's triumphant return to Westminster in the by-elections. The report also said that before his departure from 10 Downing Street, Starmer will set out a timetable for a systematic exit. It cited senior Labour sources who suggested that a clear statement from Starmer could come as early as Monday.
According to the Observer, Starmer will not suddenly resign from number 10 to leave a leadership vacuum. He views stepping down in a controlled and responsible manner as the best way to serve both the country and the Labour Party. The report also cited close associates of the UK Prime Minister suggesting that Starmer drew the conclusion that there wasn't any support left for him to continue.
However, the speculations of his resignation have been played if the Prime Minister does not step down voluntarily.
The 56-year-old joined the Labour Party as a teenager. In 2001, he first entered the parliament and retained his seat in 2005, 2010, and 2015. While he served as a junior minister from 2005 to 2007, he was promoted as Secretary for Culture, Media and Sport in 2008 when Gordon Brown was the Prime Minister. A year later, he took charge as UK's Health Minister. He was elected as the Mayor for Greater Manchester in 2017.
Now, to retain his position as Prime Minister and Labour leader, Starmer needs to maintain the confidence of at least 81 Labour MPs, which is the threshold required under Labour Party rules to trigger a formal leadership contest.
Because we're dealing with a new cohort, nothing.
Colombia has elected a new president after a nail-biting runoff vote.
Abelardo de la Espriella, a Donald Trump-backed candidate, edged past leftist rival Ivan Cepeda in one of the tightest presidential races in the country's recent history. The far-right candidate won 49.65% of the vote. Meanwhile, his opponent, Cepeda, trailed at 48.7%. Espriella's win signals a decisive shift to the right after 4 years of leftist rule under former President Gustavo Petro.
Constitutionally barred from seeking a second term, Petro had backed Cepeda. The 47-year-old U.S.-Colombian national, Espriella, who has branded himself as a political outsider and even adopted the nickname Tiger, is a millionaire attorney and businessman.
During a presidential campaign that was marred by guerrilla bomb attacks, hundreds of threats against candidates, he had campaigned on promises to restore security and strengthen state authority. He had vowed that he would immediately end peace talks with dissident rebel groups that rejected the 2016 peace accord and instead launched a 90-day U.S.-backed military offensive against them.
Following his victory, Espriella said that he had received a congratulatory phone call from U.S. President, adding that Trump has extended his support and recognized his win.
Supporters of Espriella took to streets in celebration after his narrow election victory. Cheering crowds waved flags, honked horns, and marked the triumph of the far-right candidate.
These next 4 years are full of hope for the Colombian people because we have found a person who has a managerial vocation for the country, a person who knows how to run companies and who will do the same with our country, not only for the followers of Abelardo de la Espriella, but also for all the Colombian people, because he will be the president of all Colombians.
Los seguidores de Abelardo de la Espriella.
In other global news, Qatar's largest gas plant was rocked with a massive explosion.
Now, the explosion, it occurred at Qatar's Ras Laffan factory, housing the country's core LNG processing operations, causing several people to be injured.
Now, the explosion happened late at night, with witnesses reporting a loud boom, along with the fire plumes lightening the night sky. The incident was immediately responded by security measures, including halting operations and evacuating staff.
According to the Interior Ministry of Qatar, the explosion occurred due to operational incident, quote unquote, due to a technical malfunction causing fire at the areas of Barzan gas plant. Interior Ministry further in its second statement said that several people were injured due to the explosion.
Now, this was apparently initially not confirmed, but no leaks posing a threat to individual safety have been recorded, and authorities continue to monitor and respond to the incident. Qatar is one of the world's leading LNG producers alongside the U.S., Australia, and Russia. Qatar's energy supply lines had already been disrupted due to the West Asia war, causing a disruption in LNG supply across the world. Ras Laffan LNG hub had been damaged in the recent attacks by Iranian drones, forcing Qatar to halt gas production.
Qatar's energy minister had then stated that damages from the attack were expected to cut LNG export capacity by 17%, taking at least 3 to 5 years to repair. This explosion hence adds to the recent string of troubles that Qatar has faced due to its energy supply lines. And climate change is an inevitable reality now. Temperatures are soaring all around the world, engulfing the globe into a heat trap.
And Europe is no different. The entire continent is sweating through a new heat wave, and experts say the worst is yet to come. An extreme heat warning has been issued across parts of the UK. Water safety experts are urging people to take care when cooling off in rivers, lakes, and coastal water. On the other hand, about a third of France is under heat red alert, and temperatures are expected to reach 40 degrees Celsius in some areas. In a country where air conditioning is not widespread, the forecast for coming days is even hotter.
First of all, it's fun. But indeed, with this heat, it's the only way to have fun while going out. So, the water is perfect. It's the ideal temperature, and so we're very happy that we can swim today indeed.
Simultaneously, Spain has also kicked off the summer with large parts of the country on heat alert due to temperatures expected to hover around 40 degrees Celsius, even in the interiors of the country, which are supposed to be cooler. In the capital, Madrid, tourists and locals sought shade, cold drinks and ice cream to keep cool.
Madrid today is very, very hot. It's almost 40 degrees, but it's beautiful. So just come to Madrid and it doesn't matter about the hot weather.
Well, more than 200,000 people across Europe have died from heat-related causes over the last 4 years, and WHO says most of the fatalities were preventable. More above-average temperatures are expected this summer, which can cause heat exhaustion and life-threatening heat stroke. Well, tensions continue to brew between Taiwan and China, and in the latest, Taiwanese defense forces have detected the presence of 2 sorties of Chinese military aircraft.
There are 8 naval vessels as well and 4 official ships operating around its territorial waters. Now, this comes in less than 24 hours when Taiwanese defense forces detected 5 sorties of PLA aircraft, 9 PLA vessels and 5 official ships operating around the island nation. The increased Chinese military activity comes ahead of Taiwan's combat readiness drills that are due next week. The island nation is set to assess its military preparedness through a range of major exercises. The 5-day drill serves as a precursor to the main Han Kuang 42 exercise, which is scheduled to begin on the 5th of August.
Military analysts say the test is set to introduce new alert levels, including combat preparation deployment, second-level enhanced readiness, and first-level heightened alert.
In the meantime, Taiwan also tested its first domestically built submarine. According to military reports, the trial marked the submarine's 15th sea trial overall and 9th submerged navigation test in the disputed waters.
And all of this comes amid rising military pressure from China. In recent days, Beijing has stepped up air and naval operations around Taiwan, along with a series of Great Zone tactics. China's actions are mainly intended to increase pressure without actually sparking a full-scale conflict.
Taiwan's increased caution also came with a shift in U.S. President Trump's stance. Earlier in May, Trump alerted Taiwan against formally declaring independence from China. The U.S. had long acted as a security guarantor for Taiwan. However, things shifted after Trump's recent visit to Beijing.
Now, the future of a $14 billion U.S. arms package for Taiwan remains uncertain. The deal continues to hang in balance as of now. Taiwanese President Lai Ching-te has said that he hopes the package comes soon.
We will continue to maintain close contact with the U.S. government, and we also hope that the arms purchases can be approved as soon as possible.
Well, we're going into a very short break on World DNA. Lots lined up on the other side. But before we let you go, just a reminder to our viewers in India that you can watch all 2026 FIFA World Cup matches on Z5. Tune in and catch all the action.
In-depth coverage of global issues broken down into facts, figures, and simple words. Backed with analysis from field experts who truly matter, because we believe in decoding the real picture for you. So you get a much wider and deeper understanding of stories from around the world, a 360-degree analysis. An award-winning documentary series, week after week creating the maximum impact. Watch WION Wide Angle at these times on WION. World is One. Get the latest updates. Breaking news. Credible, clear, continuous. Experts across aisles. Diverse voices, one platform. WION World is One.
In this rapidly changing world, is your health keeping pace? Best practices and breakthroughs busting the hype with real insights. The timeless power of yoga and ancient healing. Good food, good mood. Small steps, big impact. Your health matters. Only on WION World is One. Because nothing matters more.
From the bustling trading floors of Wall Street to the vibrant exchanges of Asian stock markets, WION breaks it down for you to make sense of what's happening. As we reveal the key factors behind events, strategic battles, and the game-changing business decisions that shape the world. We bring you all of this and more on World Business Watch.
The Israeli drone is above our heads all the time in Lebanon. Around 169 buildings have been totally reduced to rubble. Every time there's a warning, they just come to this public area where there are around 200 tents, and they reside for a while, and then they go back to their home. Some of the Lebanese people enjoying their time, celebrating, singing, dancing, and some others forcibly displaced. From the southern suburb of Beirut, I'm Radi Francis for WION World is One.
WION, India's global voice, the channel that brings you the biggest stories from across the world through India's lens. Now available in more than 190 countries worldwide, because we believe that the world is one. Watch us in Africa, Europe, USA and Canada, South America, Asia Pacific, Middle East and North African regions. Also available on these digital platforms across the world. WION, World is One.
Where darkness hides behind every corner. Where the truth is stranger than fiction. A show that dives deep into the stories which shock and mystify. Unsolved murders. Psychopaths who defy explanation. International war crimes. And millions swindled in financial fraud. The victims, the accused, and the sinister plot. Crime is your front row seat to darkness.
Campaigns, elections, alliances, controversies, and power play. Stories that analyze global and domestic politics. A dedicated show with varied perspectives, expert take, citizens' voices, detailed ground reports, and in-depth coverage from political corridors of the world. This is Race to Power, only on WION.
Vielleicht nur als imposant.
Welcome back. You're watching World DNA with Jyotsna. I'm Shivan. Lots more to discuss on this side of the show. Let's start with the headlines.
The first round of talks between the United States and Iran have ended in Switzerland, according to a joint statement by mediators Pakistan and Qatar. Both Iran and Washington have agreed on a roadmap towards reaching final deal within 60 days.
Mediators hail encouraging progress in US and Iran talks. They have agreed to establish a high-level committee to oversee talks with technical discussions to continue in Switzerland on nuclear, sanctions and implementation issues.
Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi hails major progress to end Lebanon war during talks, claims Iran secured key concessions including reopening of oil and petrochemical exports, lifting of the blockade, release of some frozen assets and launch of major reconstruction and development plan for the country.
Qatar says at least 54 people injured and 18 still missing after an explosion occurred in Ras Laffan industrial zone, home to the world's largest liquefied natural gas hub. Interior Ministry says that the blast was the result of a technical incident.
Protests break out in Colombia after Trump-endorsed candidate Abelardo de la Espriella wins the presidential election. People in country's third largest city, Cali, burned American flags and clashed with riot police.
China imposes export controls on 10 US firms involved in defense and rare earth mining. Beijing also bans public agencies from buying products from 46 American entities, including Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, and Boeing's defense division.
India and the United States will hold ministerial-level talks this week on the first phase of bilateral trade agreement. Officials are expected to discuss key trade issues as both sides push to advance economic cooperation.
Iran pick up their second point of FIFA World Cup with a draw against Belgium in Los Angeles. The draw keeps their hopes for reaching the next round alive. And India will host the BRICS National Security Advisors meeting from today.
And the meeting will be chaired by India's National Security Advisor Ajit Doval and will include national security advisors or heads of delegation from BRICS member countries. And during the meeting, they will exchange views on the theme of non-traditional security challenges confronting the world today.
Now, the high-profile meet in New Delhi will be attended by Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi, along with Russian Security Chief Sergei Shoigu and top Iranian security officials.
This will mark Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi's first India visit in nearly a year. Wang, who also serves as Beijing's special representative for the India-China boundary talks, is expected to hold bilateral discussions with NSA Ajit Doval during the visit. The meeting comes as both sides look to stabilize and rebuild ties following years of diplomatic tensions.
Wang Yi had skipped the BRICS foreign ministers meeting hosted by India last month. The meeting's schedule clashed with US President Donald Trump's visit to Beijing from the 13th to the 15th of May. Now, the Chinese foreign minister last visited India in August last year. During that trip, he held separate meetings with NSA Ajit Doval and External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar.
Ahead of his visit, the Chinese Foreign Ministry briefed that the Chinese side will exchange with other members of the bloc on the international security situation, major international and regional issues. However, a formal round of talks under the special representatives mechanism is not expected during this visit.
Now, the next meeting under the framework is scheduled to be held in China. NSA Ajit Doval travelled to China in December of 2024 for the last round of border talks, and that was followed by Wang Yi's visit to India in August 2025 for the subsequent meeting under the same mechanism. In recent times, both India and China have undertaken a host of measures to ward off diplomatic tensions. Both sides reached an understanding in October 2024 to end a border standoff along the LAC that had lasted over 4 years. Earlier this year, both the sides resumed direct flights and even revived the Kailash Mansarovar Yatra.
India's naval power just got a major boost. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has commissioned 3 indigenously built warships in Kolkata.
And this marks another milestone in India's push for defence self-reliance, from a stealth frigate armed with BrahMos missiles to an anti-submarine hunter and a high-tech survey vessel. These ships, they're designed to strengthen India's presence across the seas. 3 ships and 1 message. India is ready to sail into the future on its own strength. PM Modi commissioned these vessels at Kolkata's Syam Prasad Mukherjee port, showcasing India's growing maritime muscle and defence manufacturing capabilities. The vessels, INS Dunagiri, INS Sanshodak and INS Agre, are all designed and built in India.
Together, the 3 ships represent a powerful combination of combat strength, maritime awareness, and coastal security. At a time when the Indian Ocean is becoming increasingly strategic, these platforms are expected to play a key role in safeguarding India's maritime interests. PM Modi said the ships are proof that India no longer wants to remain merely a buyer in the global defense market.
साथियों, आज भारत रक्षा क्षेत्र में केवल खरीदार बनकर नहीं रहना चाहता। हमारी सैन्य शक्ति दुनिया के लिए बाजार नहीं बन सकती।
Leading the fleet is INS Dunagiri, a stealth frigate packed with advanced weapons and sensors. The vessel is armed with BrahMos missiles and modern air defense systems. It massively boosts the Navy's combat capabilities.
INS Sanshodak is India's latest survey vessel designed to map the oceans and collect crucial hydrographic data. Equipped with autonomous underwater vehicles, it strengthens maritime domain awareness.
Completing the trio is INS Agre, built to detect and neutralize underwater threats in shallow waters. Its advanced sonar systems and torpedoes make it a key asset against enemy submarines.
Well, for India, these aren't just new ships joining the fleet. They are symbols of a nation determined to design, build, and defend on its own terms.
All right, let's now shift focus to Maharashtra, where politics is set to witness another major shakeup.
6 rebel Shiv Sena UBT members of the parliament are likely to join Chief Minister Eknath Shinde's Shiv Sena faction today.
The political crisis, nicknamed as Operation Tiger by BJP and Shinde, is likely to further weaken Uddhav Thackeray's camp as the rebel bloc is expected to reach 2/3 strength required to avoid disqualification under India's anti-defection law.
Amid the growing rebellion within Shiv Sena UBT, Uddhav Thackeray has called an urgent meeting of party leaders at 2:30 p.m. local time on Monday at the party office. Thackeray is expected to address party legislators and lay out his strategy following the revolt by a section of party's Lok Sabha MPs. Meeting comes just days after a similar gathering on 17th of June, which was skipped by 6 MPs now believed to be part of rebel camp. The crisis deepened on Sunday when rebel MPs Nagesh Patil and Om Prakash Raje Nimbalkar publicly declared their support for Eknath Shinde.
Well, Maharashtra Chief Minister and BJP leader Devendra Fadnavis blamed Uddhav Thackeray for the crisis, saying that he had failed to learn from past setbacks or introspect. Meanwhile, Eknath Shinde hailed the developments as a success, declaring that Operation Tiger has achieved its objective.
For decades, foie gras has been synonymous with French fine dining, but the luxury delicacy is increasingly being produced, consumed and reinvented in China.
From hot pot tables to fried rice and even desserts, foie gras has gone mainstream in the world's second largest economy. Here's a look at how a French delicacy is becoming one of China's fastest growing specialty food businesses and what it means for the simmering Europe-China trade tensions.
Foie gras, the fattened liver of force-fed ducks and geese long associated with French fine dining, is finding a new home in China. Once considered a luxury import, the delicacy is now being served in everything from hot pot and fried rice to desserts shaped like cherries and roses. The shift has helped transform foie gras into a mass-market product. In Chinese restaurants, a slice can cost between 30 and 70 yuan, or roughly $4 to $10, significantly cheaper than the $17 to $46 often charged in France. The growing popularity has fueled a rapid expansion in production, with local farmers and food companies betting that demand for foie gras will continue to rise both at home and abroad.
Raising geese is quite hard work. I think the Europeans probably don't really want to do it either, but if they don't raise them, they won't have anything to eat. If our products are of good quality and reasonably priced and can enter Europe, then they should be very happy about that.
China's foie gras industry is expanding at a remarkable pace. Industry estimates suggest the country produced as much as 14,000 tons last year, up roughly 30% from 2024 levels, and a sharp increase from just 2,000 tons a decade ago. Now that puts China within striking distance of France, the world's largest producer. France reported output of over 15,000 tons last year after a slight decline. Together, the two countries now account for more than 80% of global foie gras production. With production rising and costs remaining relatively low, these Chinese producers are increasingly looking beyond domestic markets. Some companies have already begun exporting, with shipments reaching destinations such as Dubai, while industry participants expect overseas sales to grow further. With Europe looking for a deterrent to curb China's export flood, foie gras is emerging as the latest front for Chinese producers. The economics favor their product over the original.
There will definitely be some impact on the local producers, but who's number one or not isn't important in my view. What's important is that consumers can enjoy high-quality, reasonably priced food. That's the key thing.
However, expansion is not without challenge. China's customs rules have complicated exports, and industry sources say some foie gras is being smuggled abroad through Hong Kong and Shenzhen to bypass restrictions. The industry's growth also comes amid ongoing animal welfare concerns. Foie gras production relies on force-feeding ducks and geese, a practice that has long been criticized by animal rights groups. Producers, however, argue that demand remains strong and see little risk of those concerns slowing the sector's expansion. Business Bureau Report, WION World is One.
Scientists have spent centuries cataloguing the world's plants, but with thousands of species now under threat, researchers are turning to artificial intelligence.
And that's to help them work faster. And the technology is helping identify species, track changes in ecosystems, and support conservation efforts. Here's a report on it. Take a look.
Artificial intelligence is already helping companies write code, create images, and analyze data. Now, scientists believe it could also help save thousands of plant species from extinction. A new global report called The State of the World's Plants and Fungi 2026 has found that nearly 30,000 species of plants and more than 400 species of fungi are at risk of extinction. The report has been published by the Royal Botanic Gardens, Kew, with contribution from more than 400 scientists from 40 countries. Researchers say technology could give conservation efforts a crucial boost because the biggest challenge isn't lack of data, it's the sheer volume of it. From the Amazon rainforest to remote mountain ranges, plant species are under pressure from climate change, deforestation, and habitat loss. Yet only a fraction of the world's known plants and fungi have been assessed for their extinction risk. Many more species may not even have been discovered yet. To protect them, scientists first need to find them, identify them, and track how they are changing, and they are now turning to AI to help them do it. At the Royal Botanic Gardens, Kew, in London, scientists have spent 4 years digitizing one of the world's largest collections of plant and fungi specimens. Millions of samples, some collected hundreds of years ago, have been photographed and turned into digital records. In the past, researchers had to physically examine these specimens one by one. Now, they can access them from anywhere in the world with an internet connection. Using computer vision technology, AI can analyze digital specimens at a scale impossible for human researchers. The system can count flowers, measure leaves, compare thousands of specimens, and even extract information from handwritten labels. It can also identify subtle differences between plants, including characteristics that may be invisible to the untrained eye. Researchers say AI is helping them spot patterns that would otherwise take years to find. Scientists stress that AI is not replacing botanists. Instead, it is helping them work faster and more efficiently, with only a small percentage of known plants and fungi assessed for extinction risk. Time is becoming a critical factor, and as researchers race to document the world's biodiversity, digital archives, computer vision, and AI could become some of the most important tools in the conservation toolkit.
Now, late icon Frank Sinatra's music is returning to the spotlight.
A new West End musical in London celebrates the legendary singer's journey from rising star to global icon. More than just the songs, the production also explores the personal relationships that shaped his life.
Sinatra the Musical officially opens at London's Aldwych Theatre on 24th of June. The show traces Sinatra's early years and features over 20 of his biggest hits, including Come Fly With Me and That's Life and One For My Baby. This and his daughter, Tina Sinatra, says the production offers a closer look at the man behind the fame. The story begins on New Year's Eve in 1942 when a young Sinatra performs at New York's Paramount Theater and takes a major step towards stardom. As his career takes off, the musical also follows the strain on his marriage to Nancy and his high-profile romance with Hollywood star Ava Gardner. The production is directed by Kathleen Marshall with a live 17-piece orchestra bringing the music to life.
It's the intimacy of mom and dad and Ava entering into their lives. It is what I knew as I matured as a child. And I had a lot to say about it, but the truth is always, well, Dad would say myth is always better than truth. It's much more interesting. This is truth, and I think it's very interesting. And certainly the actors are they embody people that I think people should meet, should know and understand, and that includes Ava, who was a great woman. They just made a mess together, the three of them. But
known for timeless songs like My Way and Strangers in the Night, Sinatra became one of the most influential voices in popular music. Decades after his passing in 1998, his music continues to connect with audiences across generations, with classic songs, personal stories, and a glimpse behind the legend. Sinatra, the musical, aims to introduce the icon to a new generation. And for longtime fans, it offers a chance to revisit the voice that defined an era. And the action continues in the Football World Cup. Iran held Belgium to a draw on Sunday to preserve their unbeaten start to the tournament.
Well, first-timers Cape Verde produced another impressive display to earn a draw against Uruguay. Spain, meanwhile, got their World Cup campaign back on track with a commanding 4-0 victory over Saudi Arabia.
Well, Spain, the European champions, responded strongly after being held to a surprise goalless draw by Cape Verde in their opening match last week, with teenage sensation Lamine Yamal making his first start in 2 months after recovering from a hamstring injury. Spain came out firing and immediately put the Saudis under pressure. Yamal opened the scoring before Mikel Oyarzabal struck twice in quick succession, giving Spain a 3-0 lead inside the opening 24 minutes. Spain added a fourth goal 4 minutes into the second half when Marc Cucurella's effort was saved by the Saudi goalkeeper but rebounded off a defender and into the net. The victory moves Spain to the top of Group H with 4 points from 2 matches.
Cape Verde, meanwhile, built on their draw with Spain by claiming another valuable point in a thrilling 2-all draw with Uruguay in Miami. For the match, Cape Verde coach had vowed his side would play without fear, and the island nation lived up to that promise by taking the lead through a superb Kevin Pina free kick in the 21st minute. Naxi Araujo and Augustin Canabio appeared to have turned the game around for Uruguay, scoring late in the first half to give the two-time World Cup champions a 2-1 advantage. But Cape Verde refused to back down and found an equalizer in the 61st minute through Helio Varela.
Uruguay poured forward in search of a winner, but Cape Verde's goalkeeper, who starred in the draw with Spain, produced another resilient display to help his side hold on for a point. In Group G, Iran picked up their second point of the tournament with a draw against Belgium in Los Angeles. Belgium, meanwhile, are still searching for their first victory of the competition. The Red Devils, who also drew with Egypt in their opening match, finished with 10 men and could not break down the disciplined Iranian defense despite controlling possession for long periods. Iran's Mehdi Taremi thought he had given his side the lead from a well-worked first-half free kick, but the goal was disallowed following a VAR review. Belgium's Nathan Ngoy was sent off in the second half after bringing down Taremi following a misplaced back pass. The result means every match played so far in Group G has ended in a draw.
Now, members of Los Angeles' large Persian exile committee gathered outside the stadium to protest against Iran's hardline government. Inside the venue, Iran's national anthem was met with boos and whistles once again, in contrast to the warm reception given to the players themselves, who were loudly cheered by supporters.
Sorry.
Now, just a reminder to our viewers in India that you can watch all 2026 FIFA World Cup matches on Z5. Tune in and catch all the action.
All right, viewers, that's a wrap on this edition of World DNA. And before we take a short break, here's a quick look at images drawing attention around the world. Stay with us. This is WION World is One.
In this rapidly changing world, is your health keeping pace? Best practices and breakthroughs busting the hype with real insights. The timeless power of yoga and ancient healing. Good food, good mood. Small steps, big impact. Your health matters. Only on WION World is One. Because nothing matters more.
Get the latest updates. Breaking news. Credible, clear, continuous. Experts across aisles. Diverse voices, one platform. WION World is One.
Campaigns, elections, alliances, controversies, and power play. Stories that analyze global and domestic politics. A dedicated show with varied perspectives, expert take, citizens' voices, detailed ground reports, and in-depth coverage from political corridors of the world. This is Race to Power, only on WION.
In-depth coverage of global issues broken down into facts, figures, and simple words. Backed with analysis from field experts who truly matter, because we believe in decoding the real picture for you. So you get a much wider and deeper understanding of stories from around the world, a 360-degree analysis. An award-winning documentary series, week after week creating the maximum impact. Watch WION Wide Angle at these times on WION World is One.
From the bustling trading floors of Wall Street to the vibrant exchanges of Asian stock markets, WION breaks it down for you to make sense of what's happening. As we reveal the key factors behind events, strategic battles, and the game-changing business decisions that shape the world. We bring you all of this and more on World Business Watch. WION, India's global voice, the channel that brings you the biggest stories from across the world through India's lens. Now available in more than 190 countries worldwide, because we believe that the world is one. Watch us in Africa, Europe, USA and Canada, South America, Asia Pacific, Middle East and North African regions. Also available on these digital platforms across the world. WION, World is One.
Thanks for staying with us. You're watching WION World this one. I'm Adhya Janeja and this is Speed News. Let's start with all the stories making headlines today. The first round of high-level talks between the United States and Iran has concluded in Switzerland, according to a joint statement issued by mediators Pakistan and Qatar. The technical talks are to continue throughout the week. Both sides have agreed on a roadmap aimed at reaching a final agreement to end the conflict within 60 days. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi hailed major progress in the negotiations. Abbas Araghchi claimed Iran secured key concessions, including reopening of oil and petrochemical exports, lifting of the blockade, release of some frozen assets, and launch of a major reconstruction and development plan for the country. Iran and the United States agreed to step up and set up a deconfliction cell with Lebanon to stop military operations there. Pakistan and Qatar, which are mediating the US-Iran negotiations in Switzerland, well, the statement mentions neither Hezbollah nor Israel, which are not the parties to the Switzerland talks. The conflict in Lebanon between Israel and the Iran-backed Hezbollah group has continued despite multiple declarations of truces and has threatened to derail US-Iran peace talks.